Hey guys, Ellie here. Today I am with the sweet girl Honey, and as you can see, she is doing so good. Look at her being all alert. Look at that natural, beautiful smile that she has. Such a sweet baby. We are currently at night 3 of her being on our planet Earth, and this video right here is going to be really long, guys, which I think most of you are going to love because I get a lot of comments saying, Ellie, do longer videos, do longer videos. And so this one should be 20 plus minutes, which I don't do too often, but I'm going to show you a lot of the footage that I have from day 1, day 2, and right here, day 3 of hunting. And so you'll get to see everything pretty much as it happened. All of our thoughts, like the things that we sort of realized as it happened, our decision making. I don't know how else to explain it. You'll just get to see everything that happened and everything that we thought literally live as it was happening. And so I'll label day 1, I'll label what happened in day 2, and label what happened in day 3, just so it's very easy to tell. But, you know, without further ado, I hope you all enjoy this video.
Hi, Annie. Did you smell the baby? Hi, Andy.
Guys, if you take a look, you'll notice that the goat closest to me, the little white one, is a lot bigger and to me seems a lot healthier than the brown one. These alpacas are harassing Carrie and her babies. They're just trying to figure out who's who. They're just trying to learn names. They're not trying to be mean, but Carrie probably still kind of flustered. No, look how skinny she is, though. She is so skinny, and she was the one that was born first, so that makes it a little more concerning. It'd be one thing if she was just born recently and hasn't had a chance to suck on the teat and fill out yet, but that one was born second, and he's been a little more active. He's been feeding off mom better. He's more wet, and his umbilical cord is wetter, so that's how we know that he was born second. But for this one being born first, she is really lacking behind. She's a lot drier than him, like we were saying, so you can see that he is latching onto the teat really well, and she's been struggling to latch on, to be honest with you. So we're gonna have to figure out a way to help her. Guys, we have a bit of a problem on our hands here. So as you can see, Mama Carrie is being incredibly attentive to baby number 2, the little boy. He's resting peacefully. You can just see he's a big, mean machine. But you might be wondering, where's baby number 1? Well, over there, all on her own. Frail, skinny baby number 1. You know, it's really sad, but this happens in nature a lot. Mothers will have a multitude of babies, and they'll subconsciously, or instinctively is a better word, they will instinctively realize that a few of them are really healthy and strong, and then a few of them are kind of, you know, the stereotypical runt of the litter. And so they will just abandon the runt and leave it to die, because if you're a mother, you have limited colostrum and limited resources. So you want to give all that you have to your best and your most likely to survive babies. You don't want to waste any of it on a baby that's most likely not going to survive anyways. You know what I mean? And so it's really sad, but that's how animal instincts work a lot. So what I think has happened here is that this baby was born, but she wasn't born like fully healthy and fully strong. And then baby number 2 over there was born, and he was really healthy and strong. So in Carrie's mind, she was probably like, you know what? I'm gonna just give all my love and attention to this big, strong baby because he's more likely to survive. And she just really isn't interested in giving a whole lot of attention to this poor little girl right here. I've seen this happen 1,000 times with cats, with maybe not as much with dogs. I mean, our little Loveland was part of a litter of all babies that were abandoned by a mother. So it's sad, but it happens. Nature can be very cruel and unforgiving sometimes. But me and Meg have decided that we're gonna take this baby right here into our own hands. We're gonna bottle feed her ourselves. It's obvious that she didn't get the proper colostrum from her mom. The colostrum is the stuff that the mom has in the milk for when they're initially born. So we have Megan's mom actually just showed up, and she brought some colostrum with her. So we'll give the baby some of that, and we'll take good care of her. At this point, she's our baby now. Do y'all see what she is trying to drag out with her? A little dog and her placenta. And now it's food for Charlie, Echo, and Chia. Guys, I know that the placenta is good for the mom goat to eat so that she can develop colostrum and everything, but she wasn't eating it. She just wasn't, and so it's better for somebody to eat it than for it to remain out there and be an attraction to predators, because that's the last thing that we want. We'd rather the dogs eat it and somebody get nourishment from it than it just remain out there and attract predators over here. You know what I mean? Hey guys, Ellie here. So this morning I'm here with the sweet baby, of course. My poor fiance Meg. She works so hard. This past month or so that we've been living at the sanctuary, I've seen her sweat more, put in more, what do they call it, blood, sweat, and tears, and just be more exhausted than I've ever seen her. But also she is just really, really happy and really full because she is fulfilling the purpose that God gave her, as she would say, which is to take care of animals and to be a beacon of light in this world. And so I'm really, really proud of her. But the point I was making is that Meg was staying up all night caring for this baby because she already was like anxious and worried about her, so she wasn't sleeping very deeply. And secondly, you got to wake up every so often to feed her, as you guys know, and all those things just led to her not getting any rest. Oh, and this baby screams. This baby screams a lot, like a lot. She's a screamer, and so goat screams are louder than kitten screams because we've done this whole kitten thing many times, but we haven't done baby goats in a while, so that'll keep you up at night. But needless to say, she was exhausted, and so she's resting now, and I am on babysitting duty. So we're out here. We got Charlie saying hi. We got Chia saying hi. Isn't that sad that she's already bigger than Chia? Yeah, 1 day old. Poor Chia. Chia's so little. Oh, I don't think Chia cares. Sometimes big, sometimes smaller is better. But no, she's doing pretty good. Doing better, at least. Hey, Trixie. See this little baby right here? Look at this. Oh yeah, my dad's here, so Trixie is visiting as well. That's what that means. Look at that. Trixie saying hi to the little baby. Are y'all trying to say hi? They say that dogs say hi by sniffing booties. I know that's like really gross and really weird. I remember in the movie Dr. Dolittle, that's what they were saying. Or no, I remember Dr. Dolittle when he was a kid was trying to be a dog, and so he was like sniffing his human friends' behinds, and everyone thought it was so weird, but he was just doing it because that's what his dog did. Have y'all seen that movie? Do y'all know what I'm talking about? That's so silly. Oh, so silly. Look how slow she's walking. She's walking like an elephant. This poor little goat's trying so hard to get around the house. The ground is kind of slick though, so she can't get a good grip. Add that on top of her already being kind of weak, it definitely doesn't help. Oh, that poor thing. Little girl, what are you doing? Hey, taking baby steps, huh? No pun intended, she's an actual baby. She's like a turtle or like a snail, slowly but surely covering ground. Big emphasis on slowly though. All right guys, so I was going through my footage. Oh, look in the background. Do y'all see the little baby back there carrying the baby boy? No, but I was going through my footage and I just realized that I don't actually have any footage of what happened at the vet when we were there. That was during day 2. Obviously the last thing you saw was Charlie and Trixie being friendly with Honeydew, sniffing her behind, trying to say hello, or whatever crazy dogs do. You know what I mean? Hi, Sissy. There's old Sissy. Hey, sweet one. You doing good? Doing all right, baby? Speaking of Charlie and Echo. No, but as promised, I'll tell y'all what happened since I don't have actual footage of what happened itself. Basically, after we saw Honeydew walking around on day 2, we noticed that she was kind of limping. She was favoring her back left leg, not really putting any weight on it whatsoever. And we remembered that the previous day when she was first born, we noticed this tiny I don't know what to call it, like a flesh wound for lack of a better term. It was like missing fur, a tiny little circle where there was skin exposed, a little bit pinkish, kind of bloody. And like I said, it wasn't significant, but we remembered that. And we thought it was strange because she'd only been born for an hour or two at that point. So how do you even get a flesh wound like that being so young? I don't even know if it's possible to come out of the womb with a flesh wound like that. I don't know if, like, the only thing I can think of is maybe Carrie was popping a squat, trying to get her out of her hoo-ha, and then like Carrie maybe birthed her leaning against a sharp corner of a fence or something, and it scratched her. I don't know. I really don't know. But I noticed that she started favoring the leg that had the flesh wound, and so we were thinking, okay, something might be off here. So we took her to the vet, and when we were at the vet, they did some x-rays because they noticed a limp, wanted to make sure that everything is okay. And they did some, you know, typical tests that they do at the vet. And what they found, as I alluded to in my live yesterday, was something that we never would have suspected. So first of all, Honeydew's protein level was at 4.2, which is really low because optimal protein level would be 5.2. So anyways, we asked the vet, what does it mean when a goat has a low protein level? And they basically said, you know, it could mean a lot of things, but in Honeydew's particular case, she's showing a lot of symptoms of something called septic arthritis. And I never heard of that before. I don't know what it is. And the vets basically said that this is really strange because goats, especially baby goats, don't get something like this typically. This is like almost unheard of. And one thing I love about our vets is that they are not prideful. So if they don't know something, they aren't afraid to admit it. They'll say, you know what, I haven't really seen a lot of cases of it. And they get their textbook out and they'll sit there and they'll kind of like go through the textbook for the proper information. They won't try to be prideful and be like, oh, I've seen it all, I know everything, and just go with their gut, what they think might be right, but then risk end up being wrong. You know what I mean? They care more about doing the right thing, even if it means seeming unknowledgeable, than trying to seem super intelligent, but then they make a mistake or something. You know what I mean? And so that's one thing I love a lot about our vets. They were kind of researching and trying to read because this was kind of an anomaly that you don't really see in baby goats. Me and Meg, we like to read and study stuff ourselves. We're kind of, I guess you could call us nerds. So we were reading about septic arthritis, and we couldn't find hardly any research on it in goats because of how rare it is. And so we were thinking, like, my goodness, if even Google doesn't have much to show for it, then this thing must really, really be uncommon. And it got to the point where our vets were so concerned about what to do, and they were so unsure of what the right course of action was, that they actually contacted the vets at Texas A&M University asking what needs to be done in this case of the baby goat possibly developing septic arthritis. Because typically you would give an antibiotic, but Honeydew is so little, like so young, that you don't know what dose to give to a baby that was just born. So they asked the Texas A&M vets. They're one of the most prestigious vet programs in the world, as y'all probably know. They were asking, you know, do we do this like plasmal transplant? I forget exactly what it's called. Guys, on Megan's video, Megan's gonna have a video coming out about this soon. Megan knows all the jargon and knows all the terms better than I do. I thought I remembered it all very good, but as I'm telling you, I realized that I don't remember it quite as well as I thought I did. In any case, though, they were asking the vets what the right course of action is, and they were leaning towards a very big deal, like plasmal transplant or whatever it's called. And the vets basically said, you know what, let's not jump to that yet. Like we said, she's so young. Let's just try to give her oral medication and give her a bi-daily injection, and let's see if that will kind of clear up the problem or help it get better. And just keep an eye on her, see if it gets better or it gets worse. And so we ended up being thankful to God that we didn't have to do something that significant or that dire. And, you know, we're obviously keeping our fingers crossed, saying our prayers. And in the meantime, we just went home. We were giving her oral medication and then giving her her injections to try to get her back into good health. And I think she's doing better, because yesterday, day 3, as you'll see in a moment, she was walking around a lot better, being much more active, and she wasn't favoring that back left leg. She was putting a good amount of weight on it. So I'm very hopeful and optimistic that she's improving. And so I'm sorry if any of those details were confusing. If y'all have questions, then leave them in the comment section, and hopefully me or somebody else can clarify it for you. I'm a little confused myself, but long story short, a very rare case of septic arthritis, and she's doing better though, so I'm thankful to God for that, for sure. All right, guys, so me and my father have the 2 babies of Carrie, and we're just kind of giving her some outside time. She's our baby though. Carrie rejected her, so she doesn't get her back. But this is Carrie's son, and we've decided we're gonna put them back in the pasture where they were born at. So I just feel it'll be better for them than being in the stall. So let's go ahead and head back. Come with.
Do they have names yet?
No, they don't.
We're baby needs a name.
We're leaning towards Honey for the girl.
Honey?
Because Megan's been calling her Honey, and it fits.
Sweetie.
Come on, Carrie, let's go.
So, from what I understand, you're going to continue to bottle feed her because she's having some issues with mom rejected her.
Yes.
And we're going to return the little male with mama to the pasture.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
All right. Carrie and baby have been returned to the place they were born. They were born right here in this general area. I feel that they'll be safe. You know, the only reason we moved them was because we were worried about potential predators, but we kind of realized that the shavings in the stall were giving the little boy some problems. I don't think I've mentioned this yet, actually. He's doing good, of course. You see him nursing off his mom, but whenever he would poop, his poop was a little bit runny, and the shavings would get stuck to his booty, and it would kind of create a blockade. Like, it would kind of get clogged, and he couldn't get poop out anymore because it was blocked by the dried shaving. You know what I mean? And so I had to take him in the house and clean him off a few times and return him to mama. And everything's okay. It wasn't the end of the world, but it was difficult because I guess he felt that he had like excess poop building up inside of him, so he couldn't drink off of his mom during that time. And so we just figured it'd be easier to let them both be right here, just in the yard free. I think Charlie and Echo have kept our property safe of any predators for the time being, so we're good with that. And it's just better that he can drink off of mom anytime he wants to without being interrupted by a blockade in his hiney, you know what I mean? So that about sums it all up, but I think we're all good here, and let's go see what everybody else is up to.
Okay, for the first 12 hours.
Look at you with your little baby.
It's my baby.
The little baby.
All of my babies. I've got so many babies. That was rude. Calm yourself.
Meanie.
Calm yourself.
And then we got my dad with. Are you deciding on Honey definitively now?
I've been calling her Honeydew. She's my little Honeydew.
Honeydew. She is a honey. She just is.
She's a honey. She really is. I've called her that the past 24 hours. So.
Y'all let me.
Stop talking smart.
Really sweet.
Do y'all like honey?
Girl.
Honey it is, I guess. Y'all let me know if y'all like honey.
It's an A&M shirt.
As you can see,
For chat.
Megan has done a little bit of decorating with our sweet baby goat, our Honey. What if she identifies as a UT fan?
She doesn't.
She has no choice?
Just like you know.
Megan's, oh great, I have no choice either. Well, me and Honey are A&M fans against our will, I suppose. Oh, Honey. Honey the Aggie. That's what we'll call her now. Honeydew the Aggie.
Stop. It has to be refilled. I know. You just had 3. You can only have 1 more.
That might be a problem from the way it's looking. Why don't you tell the audience what just happened?
Well, she just downed 3 ounces. Downed it.
Yeah, this thing's bone dry.
Well, there's a little bit, but she was starting to suck air. So then, she'll want just like 0.5 of an ounce, like just a little bit more. But she doesn't act like this, where she's sitting here grunting at me, angry and biting me, trying to get more of milk from my hand. Just a second ago, she was screaming like you would think something's wrong with her.
There is something wrong. She needs another ounce.
Well, I'm trying to give her a minute to see if she really wants it, or she still just feels like she's hungry and needs a second to digest. But, I mean, her screaming is a big indicator that she's angry and she needs her daddy to give her 1 more ounce. It's in the fridge. Okay. Slow and steady. We're not going to go crazy. We're not going crazy. Okay, we're going crazy. Okay, there we go.
That was another 1.75.
I know.
So we might have overfed her a tad. But you know what? She's big, so...
No, her belly is like, see, and she wants more. She's not done, but guys, like...
We already exceeded the most we're supposed to give her. What's wrong? Did she just pee?
No.
She just pooped?
No, this just happened in a dream. This just happened. I've done this. This just happened.
It's another deja vu thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, Megan has a lot of deja vu. For those of y'all that don't know, we'll be doing stuff and she'll have seen this exact thing in a dream before. And it's not just, oh, I've had a goat before in a dream. It's like
it's the exact conversation, the camera in my face, the color of your shorts, I could read Giga Maggie's, and I was saying and feeling her stomach, just everything. Like this little Aggie shirt next to me, like everything down to a T.
One time we were at PF Chang's and you saw it in a dream. You saw the exact waiter, the exact same hair color, the exact same red background.
Yeah.
We were having the exact same meal as in the dream, and so...
You can't have more. Your tummy feels like it's going to explode. Normally, I'm all about giving them as much as they want, but you're going to overeat yourself, and I have to stand my ground here. She's not starving, guys. It's been her adequate 3 to 4 hours. She's just on pain meds and feeling better. Yeah. And see, what's weird is those deja vu moments with those dreams. I see them in dreams, but I don't ever, like, when I have the dream, I don't normally remember them until, like,
the real life event mimics it.
Like, I don't think anything of the dreams when they happen, but then when it happens, it hits you, and it's this feeling that I know, like, this happened in a dream. Sometimes I can tell you exactly how long ago it happened. I have no idea about this one, which tells me it was more than 6 months ago. But it's happening a lot more recently that I've gotten in a good headspace. It's happening a lot.
The most similar thing I can think of to it is like biblical like visions that people have and stuff.
It's weird, and nothing, and I mean, I probably went like I looked blank, huh?
Yeah.
I don't see anything. It's like a feeling. It's like, I also feel like there's like, I imagine what a shock would look like. Like, what do you think a shock would look like to you if you had to visualize?
Like a jolt of electricity?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Is she being bad?
Yeah.
Loveland.
She just tried to scruff one of the kitties from up there. And...
She's not good at it. It's not good, and she doesn't drop them, but they really don't like it, and she's not very good at it. But no, like, if you had to, when I experience that, it's how I know that it sets apart from just like, this is regular deja vu, I feel like I've done this before. If you imagine imagine what shock, a jolt of electricity would look like to you, what would that look like to you?
To me, like somebody like flinching, basically.
Okay. I imagine like a burst of light and like kind of staticky, like a bursting out like that, and like jagged edges, and I imagine it like bright white in the center and it goes out purple, and I kind of see that like in my eyes right before it happens. It's weird. I've never been able to explain it. It's happened all my life, and my parents and my family were just like, yeah, it's weird. You're the only person that's like enthralled by that. It's weird. I don't know. I don't even think I've told you that I see like a thing of electricity.
No, I've never heard that before. I think the reason it's so easy for me to believe it is because, like, obviously, like.
Well, I'm not making it up. It's
no, like, but you said people have like thought not that you were lying, but they thought that you were like imagining it, or maybe thought that it was like a hallucination or like a delusion or something. But I mean, it kind of goes along with like my belief in God. So of course I believe in visions and in the supernatural stuff. So to me, it's not much of a stretch at all.
Here's what's weird though, and I know a lot of people are gonna say like, oh, you must see really cool things. Like, no, like, me and him joke about it. I'm like, man, like, if only I could see, like, some cool stuff, you know, but it's honestly...
If only you could see lottery numbers in advance.
Man, we'd be doing good. No, it's seriously, like, I can think of one that time we were in PF Chang's with the really good waiter, the red backdrop, what we were eating, and then there was another time that I can specifically recall, we were, I had a piece of paper, I was taking a test, probably actually not allowed to talk about this because it was on a certification test. But I remember the math problem that I was writing down. I had seen that in a dream, and in the middle of my certification test, it happened. And I was like,
Yeah, we laugh because it seems to be like very minor, like silly stuff almost.
it really is. It's like, oh, I remember this exact poster going behind while we were driving, and it's like I just know that.
No remembering a distant relative from the 1900s. No remembering lottery numbers. No remembering like serious stuff like that. But
no like prophecies or anything fun like that. No,
it's just remembering the shirt I was wearing, or remembering posters, or remembering the color of wallpaper.
Good girl. Are you gonna go try to get your daddy?
But you never know. Those details that seem so mundane could be more important than we realize, and we just don't know it.
If any of you.
The only time I will ever video urination. Let's hope YouTube doesn't strike me for that, if they haven't struck me already for the prophecy talk.
It's a good pee. It's very clear.
This has been a 10-minute clip. This is what I'll wrap our video up with, I think.
With a pee. Okay, now see? It's user error. You have to use more than two plies. Guys, this is not directed at you. This is directed at him. And you have to scoop. And then you turn. And you're gonna probably get a little residue pee on your hands.
No one ever taught me that.
Then you take my handy dandy Dreft, plant-based ingredient, hypoallergenic, safe for babies, so safe for pets. You spray that. Then you can take your 2-ply that you like to use, and then you just run that over there. And see.
Well, you know what?
Look, pick up your milk too. And see, good as new.
I can't be blamed because I was never taught this. All right, guys. Well,
I'm sure your mama told you enough times how to clean things up.
No, and everyone knows my mom did it for me, because that's like that's the whole stereotype, is that, or the whole thing that I get made fun of is that I don't know how to do anything because my mom and my dad did it all for me. I get heckled about that enough, and so it's not entirely true, but in this particular case, it is a little bit true.
It's okay.
It's a little bit true. All right, guys. Well, with that said, I hope y'all enjoyed this interesting video. Y'all be sure to let me know in the comments what kind of stuff you guys want to see. Hope you all have an incredibly blessed day. And as I always say, your boy Ellie out.